Hello everybody! Welcome to Learn Piano Now with Daniel Joyner. I hope you're looking forward to learning something new today because I am looking forward to teaching you. Now today's lesson is about how to play chords in different styles or how to play chord progressions in different styles. Now, if you haven't watched the last two videos on how to play chord progressions easily and how to play chords smoothly, or chord progression smoothly, you need to go back and check out those two videos, and I'll even put a link up here on the top right hand corner for you to check those out before you watch this video. Okay, let's dive into the material today. The last two videos we learned a few things. Number one, we learned how to play chord progressions and how to understand them. And two, we learned how to play chord progressions smoothly using inversions, so we aren't jumping around like this when we play chords. Instead, we play them using the closest inversion possible. And today, as in the last two videos, we're looking at the 1-5-6-4 progression as our example chord progression. So we have the C major chord, which is the 1 in root position. We have the 5, which is G major triad in first inversion. Then we have the 6th chord, A minor triad, in first inversion. And then we have our F chord, which is the 4 chord, in second inversion. So that's the format we're working in, and we'll play all of our styles today using that as a foundation. Okay, so let us go ahead and look at the first style. So I like to call these patterns rock ballad patterns or pop ballad patterns because they're slower patterns that you would find in a ballad. So let's look at the first one. I call this rock ballad pattern number 1. I know, very original, right? But this pattern is comprised of a quarter note rhythm in the right hand and a half note rhythm in the left hand. So you're simply playing 2 beats for each chord. So you're playing each chord twice with 2 quarter notes apiece. So for the 1 chord, 1, 2, and then 5 chord, 1, 2, and then the 6 chord, 1, 2, and then the 4 chord, 1, 2. And then in the left hand, you're just playing half notes every 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You can even stick a little pedal on that. So that's the first pattern. The second pattern is called rock ballad pattern number 2. And that one is an 8th note based pattern. So it sounds like this. So in rock ballad pattern number 2, we're going to break our triads or our chords up into 2 parts. So we play the top 2 notes of the chord first and then the bottom note. So we alternate between top 2, bottom, top 2, bottom. So we do that twice. Top 2, bottom, top 2, bottom. Then we go to the next chord, our G chord. We play the top 2 of that and then the bottom, and we do that again. And then we go to our A minor chord, play the top 2, bottom, top 2, bottom. And then for the F chord, that chord right there, you play top 2 and then bottom, top 2, bottom. So when we put it all together, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you notice my hand is doing a little rocking motion back and forth with the right hand. As you break up those chords, you can use the rocking motion. After all, it is a rock ballad pattern. So that's rock ballad pattern number 2. Okay? The next one is rock ballad pattern number 3. This one is a broken chord pattern or an arpeggiated pattern. So we break up the chord like this. We play the triad. We play the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 3rd. Or bottom note, middle note, top note, middle. So we go up and then back down to the middle. And this is also an 8th note bass pattern. Okay, now our 4th pattern is called Rock Ballad Pattern 4, you guessed it. Okay, so this pattern is where you take pattern 3 and you not only double the speed, but of course you double the number of times you play the pattern on each chord. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we're playing in 16th notes, which is 1E and a 2E and a. And then we go to the next chord. 3E and a, 4E and a, 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. Then we stick the left hand with it, and it sounds like this. 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a, 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a, 1. So that's a very popular accompaniment pattern for pop songs. Now, Rock Ballad Pattern number 5 is where we simply take number 3, which went like this, and we reverse the direction of the arpeggios. Okay, so we played top, middle, bottom, middle, top, middle, bottom, middle, top, middle, bottom, middle, and then top, middle, bottom, middle. So we go. Or we can, of course, double the length of each chord. We can play that pattern twice on each chord if you want. Like Rock Ballad Pattern number 4. Now the last Rock Ballad Pattern is the coolest one, I think, because of the rhythmic quality of it. Here's how it sounds. So you have a very interesting rhythmic pattern here. And you break the right-hand triad up into 3 different rhythmic sections or rhythmic divisions. So the way I like to visualize this, or have students think about it, is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay? So the way you would count that is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the pattern lasts 1 measure. It's an 8th note bass pattern, and it's broken up into 2 groups of 3 and 1 group of 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Then you move to the next chord. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then of course you put the left hand with it, and the left hand only plays the accents. So it plays the stressed beats, which are 1, 2, 3. So it basically plays every time the top note plays in the right hand, the left hand plays with that. So it plays on the accented notes. And the rhythm is, if you want to count it in 8th notes, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 when you put it together, it sounds like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. So the next pattern is what I call the reggae pattern, and of course it's in the reggae style. So this is what the reggae pattern sounds like. Okay, so to break it down, the left hand plays the downbeat, or beat 1 of each measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really easy, right? 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The right hand plays on beat 2 and the and of 2, and then on beat 4. So the rhythm in the right hand is rest, eighth note, rest, quarter. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and then you move chords, okay? So the distinctive quality of the eighth notes in this pattern is worthy of being explained because it sounds like this. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now I need to explain that because that is different from the way you would normally play eighth notes. The way you would normally play eighth notes is called straight eighths or even eighths, which sounds like this. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 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 But this is played in swing eighths, which are 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. The way you count swing eighths is like this. You play the first eighth note long and the second eighth note short. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short. So we play 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so all together that's 1, 2 and 3, 4, 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 1. Okay, so that is the reggae pattern. Now, the next pattern is very similar to the reggae pattern in that it uses swing eighth notes again. So this pattern is what I call the pop folk pattern. 1, 2. Goes by very quickly and it sounds rather busy. But here's the breakdown. The left hand plays the down beat or beat 1 of each measure, just like the reggae pattern. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the right hand plays a rest on 1, and it plays on 2, and then it plays, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it plays on the and of 3, then it plays on 4, and then the and of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 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 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. The next pattern is what I like to call the R&B pattern. So the R&B pattern has, again, a swing rhythm, just like the other two. So this one goes. So this goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. So you break up the chord, you play the entire chord first, and then you break it up between the bottom note and the top two notes, and then go back to the bottom. So chord, bottom, top two, bottom. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 1. Now, the next pattern is what I like to call a two-hand arpeggio pattern, or two-handed arpeggio pattern, unless you want to be underhanded. Sorry, bad joke. So we're going to arpeggiate this with both hands, first the left hand and then the right hand. So this sounds like this. What I did in this one, as you'll notice, is I played each chord in root position with each hand. That's one way to do the two-handed arpeggio pattern. The other way to do the two-handed arpeggio pattern is this. You play a root position C chord, then you play the first inversion G chord, which is B, D, G, in both hands. And then you go down to a root position A minor chord, and then you go to the first inversion F chord, so A, C, F. So we go. Fast. The next pattern goes all the way back to the 1950s. This is called the doo-wop pattern, and it sounds like this. So this pattern is in 6/8 time, or 6/8 meter, which means there are 6 beats per measure, and the 8th note gets 1 beat. So you'll count 6/8 notes per measure, and then you'll change chords. So the chord structure is played in 8th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Now, the bass is going to play, the left hand is going to play on beat 1 and beat 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then when you put it all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so forth. And at the end, you can do a little walk down from 4 to 1. 4, 5, 6, 1. Now, if you want a simpler left hand for that, if that's a little too complicated, you can simply play the left hand on beat 1 of each measure and hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's the doo-wop pattern. The next pattern is a hip-hop pattern. It's what you might hear in a rap song. And that sounds a little something like this. So let's tackle the left hand first, shall we? Okay, so the left hand rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 the right hand is going to play solid 8th notes, but it's going to change chords when the left hand changes notes. So the chord changes will follow the same rhythm of the left hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the chords will change on beat 1 and on the and of 2. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. And then the final step I'm putting on that to add a little stylistic flair is a little technique of rolling the chord quickly from the bottom up. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm rolling the chord from the bottom up. So here's how it sounds put together. 1. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson thoroughly. We went over how to play the 1-5-6-4 progression in several different musical styles so that you can see what that's like and so that you can try them out. So please practice these, have a lot of fun, and we will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to receive video content every week on different topics. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.